Welcome to episode number 7, lucky 7 of Positive People Progressing. My name is Marty Dickinson with HereNextYear.com and ProduceMyBook.com. The concept for this live interview setup came from my most recent book, Lions Always Win: How to Spot What You Want in Business and Life and Get It Too. In that book, I talk about how you become who you hang around. So it's very important who we spend time with throughout our day. And I just wanted to create that one place we could go every week where we're hanging around actual real people who are very positive people. And Scott is one of the most positive people I've ever known. And people who are going places, they are progressing forward. They've already gotten that over that hump of COVID and everything happening in the world, and they are pushing forward. So it's very important for us, especially as business owners, to be hanging around those positive people. So thank you so much, Scott, for being with us today.
Marty, pleasure to be with you, and I'll be as positive as I can be after that kind of introduction.
That comes easy for you. So I want to tell you just a little bit more about Scott if you've never met him before. Scott is a past president of National Speakers Association, and actually Scott and I met at something called Speaker College. That's what they used to call it. In 2004, he came in as a presenter and talked to us about the speaking business, and it was because of him that I decided I wanted to get a lot more involved in the speaking business. So thank you so much, Scott.
Hey, you bet. That's positive.
Very much was, for sure. Scott is one of only 40 global speaking fellows in the world. So he is truly a celebrity. He has 2 amazing books. One of them is called Celebrate: Lessons Learned from the World's Most Admired Organizations, and A Celebration a Day: 365 Ways to a Happier, Healthier Workplace. In 2008, he founded Together We Can Change the World, a nonprofit organization that serves the less fortunate children and women in Southeast Asia. And for the past 30 years, Scott has been traveling around the world sharing practical ideas on employee engagement, customer service, the customer service experience, which we'll go into in depth in this program, and creating a healthier, happier workplace. So again, thanks, Scott, so much for being with us today. We are going to dive right in, if that's okay.
Let's dive.
All right. So, Scott, just for those of you, for people out there who do not know you, and this is their first exposure to you, why did you choose Celebrate as your main theme? I know you've had that theme in your speaking business for a long time, but why Celebrate?
So it really came from wanting to do more work around the world and be able to use my books as a calling card to get into large HR conferences and then share that stage with those that would come on Together We Can Change the World tours. So I really started as more of a motivational humorist in the speaking industry. And my first book was called Using Humor for a Change. Followed it up with a book called Punchlines, Pitfalls, Powerful Programs, then another called Happily Ever Laughter. It was a very strategic move. I was writing a book called How the World's Most Admired Organizations Engage and Attract and Retain Employees. And I was in Malaysia. I was serving on the board of advisors of a company there. And another member of the board of advisors for this company taught marketing at Amsterdam University, was from Amsterdam. And we were chatting and he says, that's way too broad. You need to come up with your unique spin on this employee engagement, how to attract and retain employees. And so what came out of that after we spent a day together really diving deep was my outlook on life and how organizations celebrate their employees and their customers. So that was the genesis of the first book, Celebrate: Lessons Learned from the World's Most Admired Organizations. really how organizations, how they create employee experiences and customer experiences, and whether they know it or not, how to use celebration as a strategic tool. So we did research surveys, interviews in 35 different countries. We used a lot of the HR lists from organization or HR conferences that I speak at their conferences around the world, and thus the Celebrate brand was born.
Oh, that's great. So I'm thinking when I get out of bed in the morning, I should jump up and celebrate that I'm a business owner. Is that what?
Well, so we define, sure. I like it. I actually encourage people that when you first wake up in the morning, the first question you should ask yourself is, what am I grateful for today? So I believe that your future well-being really is based on how well you practice gratitude. So, but in the book, we define celebration as acknowledging all that is good. The good work that you do, the people that you do it with, the people that you do it for. It's when your to-do list becomes your done list. It's really acknowledging the little and the big milestones along the way. So it's more of an attitude. It's a philosophy about life. It's really the lens through which we see our world. So, and it starts with that gratitude. It needs to come from the heart, not the head.
So just kind of in a broad sense, because that's a really important topic, and it's really in line with this program, because we're trying to be positive, kick off our day being positive. So what are you seeing out there when you're talking to people that are in the corporate world and in the just people who own their own businesses? I mean, we all have customers in common for sure, but we'll get more into the customer aspect of things, but we also have a mindset likeness. We all have to be moving forward. But what are you seeing out there is there any common denominator? Or how are people doing?
Well, I think everybody is trying to find their way in this new abnormal. So it's, from a customer experience point of view, it's how do you be COVID compliant? Because being COVID compliant really creates a different kind of experience. It takes away the benefits of customer experience and how you create that customer experience. I mean, I look at, I was just up in Keystone, Colorado a few months back, and there's nobody at the front desk anymore. You check in on your own. But yet you're paying this what do they call those fees that the entertainment fee or whatever the hotels are charged. So you still pay that fee, but yet the pool's not open. You have to call into a central place. You don't get the experience at the front desk anymore. So it's, how do you compensate and still create that employee and customer experience given the times of COVID that we find ourselves in right now? So in Celebrate, really as we did our research, we put things into three buckets, that the information that we got back. And the first one I mentioned was gratitude, and being grateful for the life that we have and those that we share our lives with. I think that's really where it starts. Living in the present moment is the second, being able to let go of worry, anxiety, and pressure and any negative emotions of the way things used to be, and not to be angry and resentful. And you see a lot of people coming from that place right now, it seems. And then the third, and that's the one I want to focus to answer this question about how do we create this customer experience in times of COVID, is the element of surprise. It's finding out, it's learning more about our customers and our employees, and finding out what's highest on their joy list, and how can we create that wow to in times where it's much more difficult to create that wow. And I think one of the most powerful ways to do that, and not always easy, is through the element of surprise.
What is a joy list?
So a joy list is, if you look at the things that cause you joy, what finding out, asking questions about, what is on your joy list, what's passionate about, what are you passionate about? One good example is, okay, I'm passionate about Together We Can Change the World, an organization that I was co-founder of in 2008. So I'm speaking in Colombo, Sri Lanka, a few years back, and I check into my room, and on my bedside table at the hotel, there is a photo in a frame of me and 8 kids that have basically been rescued from Myanmar, from Burma. And we had built a home between Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai, Thailand, in a town called Long Papao. And so these kids now live at that home, and these kids have been through hell, and now they're learning Thai and they're learning English, have a much better life, and it just warms your heart. So I see this photo. I'm halfway around the world. I'm thinking, how do they even know about Together We Can Change the World? I mean, how do we find out about anybody today to know what may be on that joy list?
Sure.
So we can Google them, we can look at Instagram, their Facebook. So we get a sense of, by what they post, what's part of their world. And then how can we tap into that world and give them a little bit more of that? So I see this photo on my bedside table. I'm thinking, now anything that happens at the hotel, it doesn't even matter. You know, let's just say that I get food poisoning. Who cares? They gave me the photo. You know, let's say no running water, or it's all cold. Well, who cares? I got the photo. So, I mean, it's amazing how if you just tap into it and surprise in such a way that that really connects, that touches the emotions of your customers, then they'll forgive you for a lot of other things. And so as we take away benefits from our customers because of what COVID has done to us, then we have to compensate for that in other areas. And I think that's where the surprise comes in, and really listening to our customers, you know, what they want today, and how can we provide that during this crazy time.
I was just thinking of a couple of weeks ago, there was a new Chinese restaurant that opened up a couple of blocks away, and we haven't eaten out at a restaurant yet since COVID here. And so we've been still ordering out, bringing it home and all that. So I thought, all right, well, we'll try this new place. So, because we love Chinese food, we probably have Chinese at least once a week, maybe twice. So we know all the Chinese restaurants in the area, and thought we'd go to this place and just try them out. So I get there, and there's a guy that's arguing with the person behind the register that I didn't realize it was going to cost this much. You mean I have to buy rice in addition to what I ordered? And I was just quiet. And so he was waiting for his lunch to be served and everything brought out to him. And so another person comes out, and he must have been waiting there for a long time. Another person comes out with our takeout order, and he says, "Here you go, sir." And he went nuts. I mean, this guy, because he had been waiting for so long, and I brought this bag home, and I opened it up, and it was his lunch, not ours.
Oh, jeez.
Now, I just read a statistic that 97% of customers with complaints, they don't complain. They don't tell the manager. They don't go back and give me the right thing. They just don't go back. So when you started talking about a joy list, one of the things on my joy list is to just give me the right thing. Why is that so hard? So I'm going to reverse the question here, because I was the customer. So what does a company have to do to just get it right? I mean, are they under additional stress because of the situation, or what's going on? I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to just fill an order and get to me what I ordered.
Well, you know, I think it's attention to detail, obviously, but I was just reading this morning, actually. I got Shep Hyken, who's the king of customer service and customer experience. He did a survey with 1,000 of his customers and other customers that you know, what do people want today? And the 3 words that came up that really define customer service that people are looking for today is fast, helpful, and friendly service. All right, you know, we're still with what's the internet and the race to give customers what they want as fast as we possibly can. And, you look at Amazon service. You're a Prime member and you get that the next day. And then now with the Whole Foods, you can get some of that food within hours you can request. So that's what we're competing against. And that's why you see so many businesses, retail stores going under, is because you just can't compete with the service of the Amazons. Yeah, the Amazon. Remember the Amazon?
Right.
Oh, that's the Alamo. No, yeah. So it's it's just simple, fast, friendly service and helpful. People really, they want to know that you care and that you're there to solve their problems. And I think because we are more distracted than we've ever been before, that it comes back to just listening. And there's a big difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is a physical act. Listening is a mental act. To listen, you really have to pay attention to what the customer is really saying. I remember being was meeting a client for lunch in Singapore, and I needed an internet connection at wherever I was going to eat in this shopping mall because we were going to look through some things on my computer, and I went to this restaurant that would have been perfect, and I said to the host at the front counter there, I said, hey, do you have wireless? Can I? And he says, oh, I'm sorry, our restaurant doesn't have wireless. And I'm thinking, darn, that would have been so perfect. And then I logged on, just to see if I could pick up a nearby signal of one of the others. It turns out this shopping mall, as most of them in Singapore the shopping mall they're wired. So anywhere you are in the shopping mall, you're fine. And so I went back to the host and I said, I can eat here. And I said, my question was, do you have internet? But what I was really saying was, can I get online here? Maybe I asked the wrong question, but
Right.
If he would have really listened, he's probably heard this question before, right?
Of course.
To solve my problem, you have to listen to what the customer is really asking. He could have easily said, oh, sure, we have internet here. The whole place is wired. Welcome.
Yeah, right.
But that's not how he answered the question. So in this age of distraction, we can't just hear, we have to listen, and we're there to solve the customer's problem. And as fast a time as we can do it.
That is a golden nugget worth listening to a program like this for 2 weeks. I hope everybody just heard that. That is money in the bank if you take it to heart. And it also is a perfect transition to the next segment of this discussion. We're already 20 minutes into this. Time goes so fast. We only have you for 30 minutes, and we need to get into customer engagement. That is your ultimate phrase. That is your phrase that you're known for in the speaking world, customer engagement. So I just want to ask you, what does it mean? What is customer engagement for people who have not heard that phrase before? And what kind of technique really works you brought up the listening, that's really important. So what's the next step? What happens with customer engagement once you decide, okay, we're going to up our game here in this area?
So the engagement piece is creating that experience that's going to touch emotions. So it's more of an emotional connection than that they're going to remember, that truly engages them. Richard Branson was asked how he has created most of his Virgin brands are always successful. He says, first we take care of our employees, then we take care of our customers, and then we take care of our shareholders. And if we do it in that order, everyone is taken care of. So to truly create an experience, to truly engage your customer, your employees need to feel good about who they are. They need to feel honored, and that in order for them to give 5-star customer engagement or service, they need to feel 5-star. So first it's, what are you doing to take care of your employees? And today, in the age of COVID, it's again, it's listening more to your employees. It's to check in to make sure that they're okay. It's to be a little bit more personal, to be more authentic, to be more vulnerable, to give ownership, to be transparent. When I say give ownership, is make them feel that they're part of the business, that their voice really matters to this organization. And once you have that, and they feel good about who they are, then they can engage. I love Kimpton's restaurants and resorts. They have they have this what's called Kimpton Moments, and every year they give $10,000 for an authentic, unscripted moment of care. They have this contest, and so all year long, their employees are competing to this authentic, unscripted moment of care that's truly going to touch the hearts of their customers. And in order to do that, they need to think, to think, how can we create this moment of care, this connection, this engagement? And so they're given this charge that everybody in the company, and Kimpton does a wonderful job at employee engagement first. And so now their staff all over the U.S. and now outside of the U.S., they engage in these moments. They're looking for those opportunities. So it's first to know that we would like you to reach out to your customers, learn more about them, find out. If you engage them in this conversation, then it's obviously going to be easier to create those magical moments.
Mm-hmm. And so what's the ultimate benefit here? Is it customer loyalty? Is it making more sales? Or what happens when, what's the ultimate outcome from making this next level type of effort to really engage with your customers?
I mean, you're really trying to create raving fans. I mean, not only that they're going to come back. I mean, sure, you want to create loyal customers, and harder to do that than ever before. But but the deeper the connection is, the more chance of them being loyal. But more importantly is, in an age of social media, for them to go on to Twitter or Instagram and take photos and to share their experience with the world. And then this whole customer evangelistic tactics will then become viral, and others will know about it as well, what they're doing.
Okay, so I want to kind of reverse the table, and since you brought up COVID a couple times and where things are in the world and all that, is there anything that you're seeing that has changed, anything that does not work anymore to engage with customers that you might have used 15, 20 years ago, but because the situation has changed, better not go that route anymore, better go this way instead? Anything like that you're seeing?
If you're on the phone or even in person, the old standard, okay, you say this when they say this, you're reading customer service scripts. I think anything that takes you away from authenticity and humility doesn't work anymore. I mean, the one nice thing, or I guess there's more than one nice thing about COVID, but it's created that we're more authentic, that we have more real conversations, that we're willing to spend a little bit more time with our fellow human beings, and hopefully coming from that place of love or that place of service. So anything that would detract from, not being present or just, going by the book and just saying, well, our policy is, I think that we really need to be more open and figuring out how to solve those customer issues.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I just have one more question for you, but before I ask that question, I want to give you the opportunity for people to connect with you. If you have some kind of an offer, something that you're working on, a new book maybe that you're working on, I don't know, but whatever it is, how would you like people to connect with you?
I think email is probably the best way, Scott@scottfriedman.net.
Okay.
I'm happy to make an offer today that anybody that's listening to your show, if they want a free book, my last 3 books are the 2 Celebrate books that you mentioned, and then a book called Happily Ever Laughter. how to engage in the audience. And those audiences can also be customers as well.
Absolutely.
Happy if they just send me an email at scott@scottfriedman.net. I send out the electronic versions of those books to you. So.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Okay, great. I will add that as a link, and we'll get some people your way. That would be awesome. Thank you for that offer. I wasn't expecting that. So the final question I'm going to ask here, and because we've got some really shy people on Facebook, my goodness. But that's okay, because we're going to be sending this out in a recording to my list, as well as posting it on social media, as well as my own blog posting, as well as this. I'm building inventory for this becoming a actual podcast. So that'll be out in a couple of weeks, and it'll be on 6 different podcast directories. So it will get some serious exposure with time. That is the plan. So we're going to use these recordings as time goes on. And my last question for you is about our topic today, which is being a superhero for your customers and clients. And the reason I came up with that is because on your demo reel for your speaking business, you have this backdrop of superhero in one of your images.
Oh,
what a great opportunity to bridge superhero with customers. So my question for you, with everything that we've talked today about, a customer is, they're almost, I don't want to say the word desperate, but it's a welcome surprise, since you brought surprise into it, when a person that they use as a vendor of some sort becomes a superhero. So I'd kind of like you to go into a little bit more detail about how we can become that superhero to our customers, that one person they can always rely on.
Sure. The whole superhero concept started from a lady who lives in Manila, originally from Germany. Her name is Sophie. She works with Make a Difference Travel in the Philippines, MAD Travel, and does a lot of volunteer work. And so she came up. We were chatting one night at dinner in Manila, and she was telling me that every day she comes up with a hero of the day. And for her customer is really the volunteers that serve this MAD Travel. So she lets them know that they are the hero of the day. She has a little card that says hero of the day. And then she tells them specifically why they are the hero of the day. All right, so it's coming from the place of that you're looking for your heroes of the day. If you're living in that mentality of, all right, I'm going to look for heroes, you find heroes. So for us to do that, I still love the element of surprise. I look at some of my experiences that I chat about in my programs and my books. And the company that wins the prize for surprise, it creates this whole hero concept with their customers and their employees, is a hotel in Singapore called the Royal Plaza on Scotts. And they're constantly looking for ways to surprise, to create these amazing customer experiences and make those customers the hero of the day. They have when you register for a room online, you get back a confirmation email and they're saying, are you celebrating something? Or is there something we can do for you? And it's that something we can do for you. People write in crazy things in there, and then they go out and they try to create these experiences and make you the hero of the day. And the one example is a man from New York who's very loyal to the Royal Plaza on Scotts. He wrote in that box as a joke. He said, your laundry prices are a little bit too expensive. I can buy a new pair of underwear than what it costs to clean them. Do something about those laundry prices. So he checks into his room. He goes into his bathroom, and there's a clothesline with a colorful, fun pairs of boxers for every day of the week, underwear. Of course, he had forgotten what he had said. He's, what is this? And then he sees this note, and then this was a way of solving that issue. So it's first asking the questions and then getting creative. And I remember talking to at the time, the director of branding and marketing for the Royal Plaza on Scotts. And I said, Dad, is that all you guys do is sit around and come up with ideas, to help your customers? And she says, it's amazing. Once you switch on that mentality that you're going to create these experiences, then your mind is creative. She says, we sit in a marketing meeting, and we just, these requests come up for these, and we come up with ideas, and then we figure out a way to execute them. So it's making that a part of who you are. That's your mentality. It's customer service is not providing that service every day. It's more of a mentality. How can we take better care of our customers? How can we make them heroes every day? If you have that mentality, it's sure a lot easier then to create that customer engagement.
Wow, that is so important. I think I'm going to lock all my clients in a room and make them memorize all these sayings that you have. That is so important. But that is the key to becoming a superhero for your clients, and they sure need superheroes today. Thank you so much, Scott Friedman, for being with us today. I am supercharged for the day. You've done it. I completely forgot about the debates last night for 30 minutes. And I am on a positive note again. Thank you so much. So next week, we will have Marav Richter, a 3-time award-winning author, 2-time TEDx speaker, and she works with authors. We're taking a complete switch, diving into authorship. She works with authors and applies 7 different ways of storytelling, even in nonfiction books. You can't always be the hero, so she's devised 7 different ways to storytell, even in nonfiction books. A very important topic. You can apply that to blog posts, you can apply that to your speaking, you can apply that to your social networking. Very important segment next week. And we're also going to talk about how to get sponsors for your book. So there's a really important topic there. So thanks again, Scott Friedman, for being with us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be on.
Yeah, this is the 7th, lucky 7th edition of Positive People Progressing. Remember, you become who you hang around. So stay positive out there. This is Marty Dickinson with Scott Friedman saying bye for now. Let me disconnect our Facebook. And we are still on Zoom together, but we are no longer on Facebook. So thank you so much. Great job. What Thanks. A fun topic.
Yeah, I hope there were some good ideas there.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this, and then I will post it on my YouTube channel, and then I make a blog post out of it, and then I start spreading it around social media. So be ready that you will likely get some emails with that offer you had. Thank you so much for doing that, and we will see what happens next. So feel free to share what I put out there with anybody you know if you think they'll benefit, and that would be awesome.
You bet.
We will take the next step. I'm already seeing that someday, with all these awesome people that I'm interviewing, I'm going to have to host a summit someday and do something that is more broad scale. But I want to I have 2 potential sponsors lined up for my podcast. I want to increase the sponsorship so that they can promote the event when we get to that point. So I will keep you posted as that progresses, and we'll see what happens next. But it's getting exciting.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Marty. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Bye.